Okay, good evening, everybody. This is Manoj Onkar from Management Innovations. We welcome you all to this special orientation session on the being an OD champion. Right? So we are calling it Organization Development Champion also. We are also calling it Organization Transformation Champion. And we'll look at why we mean that. So this is going to be a 90-minute session, 4 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. India time. Thank you very much for joining in. We are going to request you to interact in this session and have a dialogue here. Also, we're going to request you to keep your videos on to make it more convenient to talk to, because it's not so easy to talk to blank screens, as most of you have experienced it. Okay, so we've been, Vrinda, can you get your videos on, please? Satish and Saira, that would be great. And okay, Saira, thank you. Got your message. Okay, so everybody else, keep your videos on. Vilas, it will be good if you can keep your videos on. And Ram, welcome. Thank you. So if you can just introduce yourself in 1 or 2 lines, that would be great. You can, whatever you would like to say, right? So the 2 lines, that would be great. Who would like to start?
I am starting because I'm not sure how long I'll be able to keep my video on because
Okay.
I'm traveling. I'm
Okay.
traveling back from my institute.
Okay.
I am a professor of practice in one management school in Calcutta, which is known as IEM, Institute of Engineering and Management. It is one of the oldest private engineering college, management college in the Eastern India. And I take care of HR, and specifically subject is organization behavior. That's what
Okay.
I generally teach. And I have joined very recently into academics. Prior to that, I have 25 years of experience from the industry. I've worked with organizations like LTI, Mindtree, Ericsson, to name a few. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Yeah, the education field definitely needs experienced people like you. Thank you. Okay, who would like to go next?
Hi, my name is Atish Pandya. I am working in biotech healthcare. We are manufacturing intraocular lenses. Basically, my designation is I am a manager and I am managing the systems, our company's ERP systems as well as Salesforce. Thank you very much.
Welcome, Atish. Thank you. Okay. Dr. Subbai.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I had been to majorly to Indian conglomerates. One is Dabur and the other was Bajaj. And in the Bajaj, it was Bajaj Consumer Care. So I was the CHR over there.
Great.
So I had around 28 years of industrial experience. After that, I had done my independent directorship. So I'm a registered independent director and a certified ESG expert. Currently, I am a consultant. I've already taken certain organizational transformation jobs in different organizations in a smaller size. So I would like to know more about it, and to be certified in that aspect probably is going to give me a good age of this. So that's the purpose. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you. And Nirali, welcome. Kavita, you want to go next?
Yes. Hi, Manoj.
Hi.
Thank you for creating such platform for us to understand more about the HR aspects. I have a decade experience into HR operations. I've predominantly worked in fintech, edtech, and training industry and a BPO industry. So I have dabbled in quite a few industries. But I have worked majorly for startups and SMEs. No, after I predominantly worked in Mumbai, and I've recently moved to Bangalore. And for past 6 months, I'm working as an independent consultant, supporting recruitment and the other HR aspects for one of the edtech startup from Mumbai. So, and I would like to know more about the organizational transformation, the organizational development, because that is something which I have not touched upon, because generally it happens in the larger organization, the setup. So I would like to know more about through your webinar, and I'm excited for it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Anil, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah,
Vilas, we got your
Hi.
introduction. Thank you.
yeah,
Go ahead, Anil.
okay. So myself, Anil, and I'm life coach, and currently I'm undergoing 6 months program with Manoj. So this is brief about me.
Right. Okay. So we are doing a 6-month program on ODE coaching for, especially we designed it for trainers and coaches who want to kind of get into business coaching and OD consulting. So Anil is participating in that, and so he's here inside of that capacity. Ram, go ahead.
Good evening, all of you. So my name is Ramakrishnan, can call me Ram. I retired as a professor of electrical engineering last year from the Indian Institute of Science. I'm interested in transforming the schooling system in India, and I'm also looking at taking, different types of breath work for both physical and mental health, handling these health issues of people. Thank you.
Welcome, Ram. Vinayak, welcome. So, and okay, so PV Pharma, can you put your name and keep your video on? And we have Hiren, welcome. Nilesh, welcome. Nirali, you
Thank you,
want to
sir.
introduce yourself? Okay, so everybody, if you can introduce yourself on the chat, that would be great. We are now going to move on in the conversation, but we would like to have you introduce yourself in the chat. And of course, when we are interacting, you can say something about yourself. So this is about organization transformation with the help of organization development practices. And what we would like to know is, if as an leader and as an HR professional, right, what's your most important objective? So let's start with that question. So as an HR leader, what's your most important objective in the organization? And if you're not an HR leader, then you just look at yourself as a leader in the organization. What's your most important objective? So
Nurture the talent, mainly taking care of, as we call in the industry right now, is talent transformation. That is what we are looking at more. We are not telling just as a talent management, rather we are looking at talent transformation in most of the cases.
okay, perfect. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Cultural change could be one of the thing.
Okay, perfect. And Samindra, if possible, it would be good if you can get your videos on. It helps us
Sir,
to
I'm
get
actually in
better.
transit,
Okay,
so
okay,
I
problem.
beg your pardon for that.
No problem. Thank you. No
Yeah, so my
problem.
name is Samindra. I'm currently working with Parsons Kata Mundi.
Okay, where are you based?
I'm based in our factory, which is based out in Valsad, Gujarat.
Valsad, Gujarat. Okay, great. Welcome. Good. So, yeah, Nilesh Surana is a lean management consultant, and he's also part of our 6-month OD program that we have been running right now. Okay, Onkar, welcome. Okay, so I'm repeating the question. As a HR professional, as an HR leader, or as an organization leader, what's your most important objective?
If I could contribute,
Yes, Kavita.
Manoj, I believe as an HR leader, or attracting a good talent, retaining a good talent, is one of the important factor, along with nurturing and fostering a positive work culture and all. And in process of retaining the talent, the process which is adopted is where the organization development and transformation takes place. Where the nurturing of talent, like Mr. Majumdar said, comes into picture. So I think these days the most challenge is attracting and getting a good talent and retaining them, considering the competitiveness in the market is concerned.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much, Kavita. GS, welcome. Can you put your name and, if possible, get your video on? Yuvankar, Vinayak, if possible, get your video on. Thank you. Yes, Dr. Submai, would you like to share?
Yeah, I think the question was aimed to what is going to be my objective if I'm in the organization. So I think
Yeah.
it's in a simplistic manner, each and every organization has a goal. Each and every organization has a mission, right? So being the leadership level, it is to check the organization reaches to that milestone.
Right.
So for that, whatever the systems, the processes, the policies, whatever it is there, that has to be aligned to that of objective so the organization reaches the milestone. That should be the one single point of objective for each and every leader. That is my belief.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Okay, yes. Nirali, thanks for your introduction. And let me shift the question. And don't worry, I'm not going to ask too many questions. I'm going to just take 2 or 3 and then go, do a small presentation, and then we'll keep interacting as we go ahead. Right. So from organization development perspective, what are the activities, initiatives you have been taking, you have been leading or being involved with, right? So what are some of the initiatives that you've been involved with in your organization? Either you were leading them or you were involved with them, right?
So if I would like to add
Yeah.
over there in continuation to what I have stated, I think it is important for me. So whatever the small scale job, what I have done, I have tried to do a strategic evaluation of the organization.
Right.
Then if the vision, mission, things have already been described, so go by that. Otherwise, for formulation of that, and then accordingly to create a organizational goal setting, either by following a BSC method or whatever it is,
Right.
and then to cascade it down,
Yeah.
find out the critical success factors, the competencies, and to cascade it down to the lower levels. Then accordingly, if I talk about the talent management over there, the real change, the what should I say is, the culture change in the organization is very important in terms of the change management and the talent management. So a differentiated talent strategy over there. So I just tried to answer it in a nutshell.
Yeah.
But the process I have taken it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hey, Vishakha, welcome. And those of you who can get your videos on, you should get them on. Okay. I know some of you are in transit and we understand, but otherwise it would be great. It's really useful to talk to people instead of talking to blank screens. Okay. Great. Vishakha, thanks. Okay, so let's look at our approach. I think let me just take you through some of the elements that we focus on. Okay. 1 second. Give me. Okay, yeah, here we go. Can we see the screen?
Yes, sir. We can see the screen.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so let's get this side. So we are Management Innovations and we operate from India, Thailand, Philippines, and the UK. We do OD consulting and we do certain OD consulting related programs, including leadership and strategy. We have had participants from more than 30 industries and more than 10 countries. But this is our main purpose of whatever work we are doing. So the first one element is creating future-ready organizations. And we believe that most organizations are not future-ready. They have not tuned into what it will take to be future-ready. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Second, very, very important for us is creating organizations where people bring their head, heart, and soul. Now, most of us have been in the corporate world for long, and what we would know is, in most cases, nothing is true for everybody, but in most cases, people don't even think of bringing the soul. Like that's not even a topic, right? And initially, people bring their heart, but many of them get clear that if you bring your heart to the work, you will get hurt. So they say, okay, I have to put my heart somewhere else, not carry too much of that to office. Then you say, okay, fine, I'll take my brain. Okay, I take my head to the office. Then people realize if you're a genius or if you're a great thinker or you have intelligent, you have a problem. You can only use that much intelligence that your boss can digest. So in most organizations, unfortunately, there's not much of an environment where people can bring their full head, heart, and soul. And I think, and we believe that if creating that kind of organization is in the words of Gary Hamel, I'd say that is creating organizations fit for humanity. Most of the organizations have been built on the management systems that were learned from the early industrial organizations. And most of our organizations are built for machines and for people to work with machines. The whole management system is designed around machines and people working with machines. Starting with when we started the whole industrial revolution, it was getting the farm hands to now come and work in the factories and use the machines and do the production. Unfortunately, most of the management thinking is still around that. So we are looking at a future of organizations where organizations are designed for people bringing their head, heart, and soul. That would be like fit for humanity. And the third is also very important for us is each organization being a positive contribution on the planet. So this is our purpose. This is why we are in business. This is what we want to foster everywhere we go. If somebody could read out what's there on the slides, if you don't mind. Let's have somebody generate the first line.
Transform organizations. The first point, master building deep connections with internal and external stakeholders.
Right. So I think that's obvious that is critical, and it's also obvious that that's missing in most organizations. Okay, somebody else next.
Master developing extraordinary understanding of stakeholders, objectives, challenges, and opportunities.
Thank you very much. Ram?
Build a strong portfolio of offerings which will serve the stakeholder and ensure delight.
Okay, thank you. Kavita?
Create strong transformation delivery mechanism.
Okay, good. Somebody else, can you, Dr. Shubhma, if you don't mind?
Sure. Create strong transformation delivery mechanism.
And the line before, after that.
Build a sustainable business model and framework.
Right. And grow your practice with velocity, supported by a community of well-wishers and partners. So this is the whole focus of the work that we are doing. And these are the elements that we are seeing as part of OD and important from the way we develop ourselves. So what we are talking about here, this is like an introductory masterclass for OD and for our program for people to learn OD, right, and get certified as an OD consultant. But what we are doing here is we are not teaching you just the theories. Theories are very easy. We are actually getting you to practice it and work on it for your own business, for colleagues' business and then actual client businesses. So some of the elements that we are working on is leadership transformation, culture transformation, strategic thinking, then actually creating business strategies, which is competitive strategies, then strategy execution. So these are the main part, and then supported by business development and innovation. Also, very important is what we have seen in most of the small and medium enterprises, especially. It may be true even for large, but definitely for small and medium enterprises. The strategy piece and the execution piece and the performance management piece and the talent management, they are not in sync with each other. If you look at most of the KRA sheets, or if you look at how talent management is done, and how much is that in sync with the strategy, it is a question mark. We have had a lot of people sharing that has been like, it's almost like two different things, not connected. Okay, so we help people to get their strategy, its execution, PMS, and talent management be in sync with each other. So in this program, what we're doing is we are helping people learn the leading edge methodologies, become proficient and create success stories, get hands-on practice of OD, build your impact and build your credibility, and become part of this community of ecocentric leaders and professionals. Okay, so we'll stop here and let me have a conversation with you because slides are not funny. It's let me see what's happening. Okay. Second. Are you seeing me or are you seeing the slide? Right now,
Both.
what's the situation?
You're
seeing
seeing
We
the
can
slide.
see the slide.
We can see the slide. Is the program structure that you're showing us?
Okay, okay. So I wanted to stop the screen sharing. Okay, good. So now, keeping that in the background, let's look at what are the key things that we have to deal with. So first and foremost, as a part of OD, is transforming leadership, right? And what do we mean by transforming leadership? If you look at the world, and in many forms, whether you look at the corporate world, the society, or large, the whole leadership phenomena is become egocentric leadership. Egocentric leadership means thinking about me and myself, right? And whatever I define as mine. And so whether it's countries and people are looking at how do I make my country better and maybe at the cost of other countries, or how do I make my company better? And then it goes to how do I make my department better? So it creates the whole silo thinking. It creates a lot of other disconnect. So the big shift that needs to happen in an organization, if you are doing an OD consulting, is to alter the whole environment from egocentric to ecocentric. And we leverage Dr. Otto Scharmer of MIT, his work on Theory U, which we believe as the world's #1 leadership and change management conversation right now, as a very powerful tool. And we use that. There are 3 levels of Theory U, which starts with transforming perception. Second is transforming self. And third is transforming action. So the first thing is transforming perception. Right? So whether you're working with us in this program or otherwise, but whenever you're working with OD, whenever you're working with organization, the first phase is always transforming perception. What do I mean by that? Each one of us is living in our head. We live in our head and we think we live in the world, but actually we live in our head. And whatever magic you want to create, you have to, first step is to get out of your head. Same thing for the leaders, same thing for all the employees in the company. We are all living in our head and we have to learn what we call as deep listening practices, and sensing practices to train ourselves to get out of our head and to actually connect to the world, connect and see the world with fresh eyes, see our business with fresh eyes, and also see our company or the industry, the future from the eyes of other stakeholders. So what's phase of transfer perception is we actually learn various deep listening practices which allow us to kind of get out of our head and start to question what is there in our head and how we see reality. So I'll just give you an example. If you can experience it, let's try that. So imagine that you are in a room and imagine that you've been living your whole life in that room. And the room has windows all across, but they are closed and covered and the curtains pulled. And then you're sitting in the room and there is a projector in besides you. And the projector is kind of showing a lot of video, audio, a lot of interesting stuff going on. You're hearing stuff, seeing stuff. And this projector is connected to your brain. So you're seeing a lot of interesting stuff. The only thing is, it's got nothing to do with what's happening outside of the room. Now, we're not saying what you're seeing is wrong. It's just not got anything to do with what's happening outside. So if you want to see what's happening outside, you have to first realize that, yes, you have been watching this projector and watching the stuff being given by this projector. You have to pause it, get up from your chair, go to the window, right? Move the curtains aside and actually open the window and see outside. And what will you see? What you will see is something different from what you were seeing earlier. If you don't see something different from what you were seeing earlier, there is no proof that you actually are looking outside. We're still in the projector room. This is what we call, this is just a way to explain it, but what we're talking about is factual listening, training ourselves in factual listening, training ourselves in listening for contradictory data, listening for data or points, inputs, which will make us rethink. If it doesn't make us rethink, there is no proof that we were listening. Now, we may be listening. I'm not fighting against whether we are listening or not. But unless you have some contradictory data, there's no proof that we were listening. Maybe it's just the mind playing its own games. I'll give you an example, very interesting example. Anchal, welcome. Rajesh, welcome. And a last reminder for everybody to keep your videos on if possible. Okay. So let's continue. So we are doing this workshop on OD consulting. And these participants of this workshop were asked to go out and interview a lot of entrepreneurs and other leaders. And they did that. And then they came back and they presented their input. And after we got all the inputs on the board, we looked at how much of this input that you have got from the so-called input that you got from others, how much of it is actually a reflection of you more than the reflection of the people you interviewed. And it was shocking. They could see everything was colored by who they are. So it's going to take a lot of efforts and serious commitment to get out of our head and to actually see the world with fresh eyes. Everybody thinks, almost everybody has an illusion that we are good listeners and all that stuff. I think we have to let go of all that. We can't afford, as OD practitioners, we can't afford to live in that illusion. We start from human beings are not meant for listening. We are not designed listening. It's not good or bad or right or wrong. Like we are not designed to be 15 feet tall. We don't have a problem with that. In the same way, we are not designed for listening. We are designed for opinions and judgment. And you might notice some opinions and judgment going on as we are speaking and as we are having this conversation. So the beginning of OD is also our own transformation as OD practitioner, as leaders in the organization, and then supporting everybody to move from living in the head to actually getting curious. So how do you develop this factual listening? Is you need to develop curiosity. Otherwise, our voice of judgment and cynicism is going to just kind of stop everything. We call it voice of opinion and judgment. So our first breakthrough we need to create is for ourselves and at least for the core team to have a breakthrough in factual listening. And then, of course, it would be great if we can move it to everybody in the organization. And that's what we do. Generally, we start with the core team and then we train the whole organization. If it is a huge organization, then it might happen that we train a couple of people. And then, like, for example, there is an education institution which has some 2,000 staff members. So we trained their top 30 people. And then they internally trained another group. And then that group then cascaded it to the whole organization. So that's also fine. But the whole point is we have to train ourselves rigorously into factual listening. That's the beginning of listening. And any transformation begins with transforming perception. So that's the starting point. Vandana, welcome. Keep your video on. That's good. Everybody else who can should keep your video on. Now, and then we are going to go to the other levels of listening, and they are critical from the OD perspective. But before I go there, if anybody has a question of what I've been saying so far, or if you want to comment anything or interact, then let's do that. Okay, are we on the same page? Are you getting what I'm saying? Okay, good. So the first layer is factual listening, and the second layer is what we call as empathic listening. Empathic listening is about seeing from other people's eyes. Okay, we also call it turn the camera around. We have been all looking outside, like we want to see what's happening outside, but it's also important we turn the camera around and see ourselves, see our organization, see our industry from the eyes of various stakeholders. And when we do that, it is transformational. It is transformational. So, and then there are a lot of tools and exercises that we do. So I'll just share an incident that happened in an event. So we were doing this event for another educational institution, big one, and we had them practice some of the deep listening exercises and tools with the students, teachers, staff members, and parents. And this is a highly reputed organization. I was a founder consultant for it long time back. So I'm very proud of that organization. So nothing wrong with the organization. So, but when they did all these exercises, they said, we thought we are the best school in town. But now when we are talking to the stakeholders, we realize we had no idea of their expectations. So I remember like the staff members were sitting with students and they were like going crazy, like thinking, oh my God, this is what you expect from us. Like they were like just surprised. Like that was not even in their worldview. So when we actually start getting out of our head and connecting to the people and seeing the world from other people's eyes, you get shocked, you get surprised, you get new insights. And that is again the foundation stone for any OD work. Like we say, if you're going to create your vision and if you're going to create your strategy from your head, is useless. So one question, How many heads should a leader have? So the worst answer is one.
It's
If
like
you-
many hands,
Yeah,
many heads.
yeah. If you can only process what you can think, it is quite miserable. You have to be able to connect and get the world views of many people. That's when you expand your horizon. So we have to train the leadership team, we have to train the senior team, and ultimately everybody into really expanding their horizon by profoundly connecting to the worldview of other people. And it's not that other person's worldview is right. It's just that when you have access to multiple views, you expand your horizon. Right? We're not saying that what your thought process is right and you're wrong and your customer's thought process is right. No, we're not saying that. But we are just saying expand your horizon. Get to see the world differently from different stakeholders, different customers, users, your employees, your vendors, people who are around the industry, people, and like that. So there's a whole set of things that we need to look at. Okay. People who have joined in now, welcome. So what we are doing is we are looking at some of the elements of organization development, which we teach in our program, and also something that we think is relevant for all of us. And right now we're talking about leadership. And the first element that we're talking about leadership is listening. And we believe that leaders have, like all other human beings, leaders are also not designed for listening. Leaders are designed for having opinions and judgments, like again, same for all human beings. And unless we have a breakthrough in factual listening, unless we have a breakthrough in what we call as empathic listening, whatever strategies we are going to come up with, which is part of the OD game, right? Or whatever vision we are going to come up with, is going to be very limited. Okay, so let me pause here and yeah, Professor Majumdar, welcome.
I'm so sorry, I got dropped off because of
Yeah,
some
yeah.
issue in the network. I'm so sorry.
No problem, no problem. Welcome back. Thanks for joining back. Okay, so let me pause here and let's see what you are hearing or what questions are coming up for you or anything. This is the time for you to speak up.
So these cognitive biases
Right.
would come to the same thing, right? Listening, deep listening and all.
See, by labeling it as bias, whatever different kinds of biases, that labeling doesn't help much, right? What's important is experientially we seeing the world from other sides. Theoretically, everybody knows, right? All of us know that we have biases. But do you know how it is shaping in the moment that we are actually having a conversation or when we are in a meeting? How is it shaping our decision making? How is it shaping our behavior? How do you break out of all that? So one of the simple access is to actually interview a lot of people, connect with a lot of people, go through the various learning journeys. We have some tools called learning journeys and stakeholder interviews and empathy walks, and actually observe. And then in a team, share your inputs, and then you discover, even when you thought you observed, you actually didn't observe much. And then go back and observe again, and then train yourself to observe again, and open your mind and observe again, and open your heart and observe again. There was this example that Peter Senge shared. Actually, Otto Sharma shared about Peter Senge. So he was working with, I think, Ford, and some of the managers from Ford. This is an old story, of course. Had gone to. Can you hear me? Is my audio clear? Yeah. Okay. So I had gone to the Toyota plant, and we came back, and then Peter asked them, "How was the trip?" And they said, "No." He was surprised. He said, "What happened?" So this manager says, "No, I think they didn't show us the real plant. It was like a stage managed. I've been in this industry for 28 years, and there is no way a plant can be so clean and no inventory lying around and all that stuff. So what happened is his eyes could see, but his brain couldn't see what was in front of him. And of course, for us, when we are now outside of the story, we can see the joke, but when we are inside, we don't. Right? So it's about actually doing the exercises ourselves and discovering the world. So that's the first step, and not going too much in details, but that first step of OD is to actually train people in deep listening. From there, then you get them to connect with each other, connect with, so if you have the core team and the leadership team, we get them to connect with various stakeholders practicing those tools. Again, as I said, customers, employees, and vendors, users, and many more people involved. Now, when that happens, they have a expanded worldview. In that expanded worldview, you can, if they want, if the depends on the organization. I'm just giving you a perspective, depending on where the organization is. If you are in a position to create their vision, purpose, and vision, you can work on that. And if they already have it, then maybe you can see if it needs to, and if it is empowering people, if it is connecting to people. If not, then maybe you need to revisit that. The second layer, what we say is, again, we have to work on people to connect themselves to the higher self. So each one of us, we have a small self and we have a higher self. And unfortunately, when we talk of management, we think it is a brain job. No, no, no. One is, we are not talking about management, and we're talking about leadership. And leadership is not a brain job. It is a integration of the head, heart, and hands. And we need to bring the whole person in the game. So coming back to, each one of us has a small self and a higher self. The small self job is to worry about itself, to take care of itself, right? And which is important. Otherwise, you wouldn't be alive, right? So you have to take care of yourself. But what is the higher self? The higher self is the one which is connected to the purpose of why we are here on the planet. So one is, as a leader, you can survive. That's important. But you could also fulfill your purpose of why you're here on the planet. Whether you're building an organization or whether you're part of an organization, you're leading the organization, what is the bigger purpose of your life, and how is this part of that? So when you connect to your higher purpose, when you connect to your higher self, that is where your real leadership starts. Till that time, you're just doing psychology. And when the moment you get connected to your higher self, get connected to your purpose, then the same business, the same job will look different. And you will see opportunities to make a difference that you didn't see before. Right? So the next phase is, of course, connecting to higher self and then creating the purpose and vision. So that's the first phase of OD. Second phase of OD is continuing with this journey, creating the strategy. There are some strategic inputs. So here we refer to Michael Porter, and as Dr. Subhamay said, we also leverage a balanced scorecard methodology. We find it very convenient for anybody to learn. It makes things very simple. It allows you to think strategically, and also to put the whole strategy on a single map, on a single page, so that anybody can understand. We can explain it easily to everybody. So in the strategy map, we have this whole organization on one map, and we can see the organization from the 4 perspectives: the financial perspective, the customer perspective, the process perspective, and the capability perspective. We call it FCPC. Those of you who are familiar with balanced scorecard, it has become easy for you, but those who are not familiar, you can just remember it is seeing the organization from 4 perspectives: F, C, P, C. F is financial, C is the customer, P is the process, and the last C is capability. So let's get a little bit orientation around it. So for most of the business organizations, while there will be some purpose and vision, but one of the key elements is financial perspective, right? So you need to survive. If you want to survive, if you want to succeed, you want to have future, then you need to be strong financially. So great. So the financial is on the top, right? Now the question is, where will you get finances? You're going to get finances only from one place, which is customers. All the other finances that you come, that's not going to sustain the organization forever. Most of the other finances are either form of loan or debt or equity. They are dependent on you generating money today or tomorrow from the customers, right? So ultimately the game is you need to have a lot of happy customers and have them continuously. So that's where the whole customer perspective comes in. So financial perspective is how you're generating money. And of course, there is another part of financial perspective is how are you using the money wisely, which is called the productivity strategy. Okay. So there is a growth strategy, which is about how do you earn your money. And then there is the productivity strategy, how you're using the money wisely. Hey, Manoj, welcome. Then comes the customer value proposition, the customer perspective. How are you going to win in the market? How are you going to ensure that you have a lot of customers continuously, right? And you are having the sustained business. Now, inside of that, then there are certain methodologies. We have a simple formula that we look at is the whole game is connected with PCG. You can look at PCG. This is a special acronym that we have used. You may not, the concept is very simple, but you may not hear this acronym anywhere else. P is product portfolio, C is customer segment, and G is geo presence. So all the game that you play is connected with PCG, that is the product portfolio, customer segment, and geography. So if you want to increase your revenue, you want to serve the customers, one thing that you look at is product portfolio. When I say product portfolio, I'm also including service portfolio, right? And then what are the customer segments you are serving? And third is the geo presence. Which geographies are you serving? So this combination is what is going to determine most of your success in the organization. Then of course, there is customer satisfaction, your quality of product and your service and all that. That is also important, right? So, but along with that, you need this PCG. And then there is, once you understand PCG, then you can also understand PCCG. The next C is for channel. The channel is for your sales as well as channel is for your delivery. Right? So you can have sales channels and you can have delivery channels. So basic business model, if you are not a business person, but you want to get any organization, if you want to view this balanced scorecard system helps. First step in that is understanding the financial perspectives. And in that, you look at the PCG and the PCCG. Then the next game is to look at customer value proposition. How are you going to win in the market? So what are the factors that the customer evaluates you on? If you look at, let me see if I can share the image with you. So many of you might have seen a strategy map template, but if not, I'll show you. It's makes things very clear. Right. And if you're new to it, don't get overwhelmed. Spend some time with it, it becomes easy. It's not complex. 1 second. So let me share the screen again. Let me know when you can see the screen.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, cool. Is it big enough? Is it readable, or you want me to enlarge?
If you please enlarge it a bit.
Yes.
Please zoom it a bit.
Yeah, yeah, one second. Hold on.
Actually, it's already 100%. I don't think so. You can do it.
Let me try again. 1 second. I think.
I think it's fine because it's already 100% down. If you see, you will not be able to zoom it through.
Okay. It looks like I made some mistakes. So I'm seeing you.
No, no problem. Zoom is also providing the zoom option.
Okay. 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 Sorry for that. There's some.
Sir, we can zoom it. Not to worry.
Yeah.
Not to worry.
Okay. Sorry, because something has happened and I am able to only see you guys and I am not seeing the screen. Not that I need to see that, but I was hoping to zoom it from there. But let's move on. So the perspective is the customer. In the customer perspective, if you see, okay, now I got access. Okay. So if you see, the customer evaluates you on your product, your services on multiple factors, and their price, quality, availability. Like you might be great product or service, but if it's difficult to get your services, your availability is limited, then that's a problem. Then selection is the options, the range, and the functionality of your product and service. So this is from a product and service attributes. Then they're also looking from a relationship perspective. What is the level of service? What is the kind of partnership that you have? And then other thing is your brand, right? So these are not all the factors, but these are some of the standard factors that the customer is going to evaluate you on. And you need to succeed on that for you to have the sustained business. So from the financial perspective, you move to the customer perspective. And once you get your value proposition right, then you have to look at how are you going to do it? How are you going to deliver excellence to the customers all the time? And that is where the big answer comes through processes. Unless you have strong processes, you cannot standardize excellence. You cannot be a reliable, consistent, reliable service provider. And that's where you need all the processes for your sales, the processes for your marketing, the processes for your production, the processes for your R&D, your compliance, delivery mechanism, everything. So the most part of the organization is involved with processes. Okay. And okay. So then the next thing is who's going to design these processes? Who's going to implement these processes? And that is, of course, people, right? So that brings us to the capability part, which is competent people fit for their role, right? So are the competent people are sufficient? No, they also need the right tools. Is that sufficient? No, they also need the right culture. But who will ensure the culture? So then there comes the leadership. So basically the capability piece is right people with the right tools, technology, know-how, working in the right environment created by the right leadership. So that's the whole capability piece. So if you ask how, if you're looking at the map and looking at how, so how will we get the finances? Is by winning in the by ensuring the customer value proposition. How will we consistently get new customers and serve them well? Through processes. How will we have the right processes and implement them well? Through our capability, which is our people capability, technological and know-how capability, culture, and leadership. If you were to study the map from bottom up, you can ask why. Why should we invest in people, culture, capability, technology, know-how, such that we can have the right processes and we can execute the processes well? Why do you need to have the right processes so that you can get lots of customers regularly and serve them as a standardized excellence? Why do we need to do all that? That's very obvious, to generate the finances. So the strategy piece, understanding of this FCPC, very simple, very important, because most of the times, people in the middle management of the organization, they don't see the whole picture. And when you don't see the whole picture, you only see a limited perspective. You cannot really be a very active contributor to the success of the organization. You might be doing something great for your department, and it could be dangerous for the organization. So it's very important to create an understanding of how all of these are interconnected and what we are doing, and how is it actually helping us to accomplish our long-term perspective. All right. So we start with strategy, put it in a map. It takes some time. It takes around to actually create a proper strategy map for an organization. It could easily take between 1 month to 3 months, and depending on the status of the organization. And then it is about execution. So each of these objectives that we put there, then they have to have some parameters. We call it OMTI. Okay. Objectives, measures, targets, and initiatives. So each objective has to have some measures, that is the parameters on which you're going to evaluate. Then there are going to be targets, and then there are initiatives, the action plan. And I'm going to talk for a couple of minutes more at a stretch, and then I'm going to take your questions and we will interact. So what we are doing by creating this OMTI framework is we are creating an execution mechanism for our strategy. So we will map our strategy with the guideline of the template that we have. And then we create an execution framework, which is through the scorecard, OMTI. And this objective, each of the initiatives will have some responsibility. And that is how you connect the PMS, the performance management system. So that's how you connect the KPIs and the KRS. The other thing that okay, so let me pause here. I think I'll connect the talent management a little later. And let's see what questions you have, anything you want to say. Let's have some interaction.
So the mapping of KRAs and the KPIs, what are
Yeah.
few things to keep in mind? What are the prerequisites?
Strategy of the company to be documented.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have a company strategy, if you don't have a company scorecard, and if you just have people KRAs, it's like you're playing football and you're having the scorecard of cricket. So why most of the performance management systems fail, why most of the KRAs fail, is because they are not in sync with the corporate strategy. And that's why there is not much seriousness around it. It's like there's a lot of loose ends in the way majority of the organizations play with their KRS. And I have seen medium-sized organizations, small-sized organizations, and large-size organizations also. Whenever the KRAs, whenever the PMS is not in sync with the strategy, it is half of it is a time waste. And I'm being generous when I'm saying half.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
So are we referring or extending that to OKRs?
Yeah, see, OKR
Objective key
is,
results?
yeah, so this, what we create in the strategy map is the objective. So that OKR, the objective that has to come from the strategy map, right? Now, we have been interacting with a lot of people worldwide, even Paul Niven, who has been a big author for both OKRs as well as for Balanced Scorecard. And we see that the combination is very good, the Balanced Scorecard and the OKR conversation. But the general recommendation which most companies are missing out is general recommendation is use OKR for department and organization kind of driving departments and organization, not make OKR as the performance measurement system. Because OKR by design is supposed to be ambitious, very ambitious. And performance management system has to be designed which is more towards like measurable and reliable. And OKR is by design, again, it's supposed to be taking very few objectives and focus on that and drive that, right? So it is better if we use the combination instead of misusing OKRs as PMS. Am I
Got it, sir.
answering your
Yeah,
question?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. So if you have 1 or 2 or 3 OKRs objectives and driving that across the organization, that could be good. Instead of connecting it to PMS, and you will have to then lose the whole ambitious part of the objective, which is the spirit of OKR, the moment you put them in the PMS.
But actually, we have seen it is being done because in most of the cases, we are trying to link OKR with the PMS. And that's a
Yeah.
major fallacy that we are, it's
Means not recommended. That is the whole, see, problem is every company, there are whatever they learn, they want to connect it to PMS instead of connecting it to how the whole organization is run. Because it takes more effort and discipline to have the whole strategy be driven like that, and then have objective at a organization level where the leadership would be accountable for those objectives. And you have to then choose only 2 or 3 objectives. It requires a lot of guts to choose 3 objectives and say, these are the 3 that we are going to drive like crazy. When you say, oh, we are driving these 20 objectives, then actually nothing is getting driven. Or you're not having the excellence that you can have when you drive the 3 mega objectives. Right? So that's the whole spirit of OKRs.
Got it, sir.
Thanks, Professor. Okay, anybody else? Any question? Anything you want to say, interact? Or if you get a,
Yeah,
if
I
you,
have.
yes, Sandeep, go
I've
ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, Sandeep.
So, how do you ensure that decision making is decentralized and where there are a lot of times where I've seen as a practitioner, I mean, where the line managers are aware about what has to be done, but the team does not know how to take a decision. They're not empowered to take a decision, and because there's not much clarity, as you rightly mentioned, about the KPIs not being aligned to the purpose of the organization. So how does one handle that challenge?
Yeah. So, see, first thing, that's why first thing we work on is the leadership and culture. And this is where we talked about theory U in the starting of the session. I hope you were there at the time. So once we use the theory U, we find that it opens up the communication, and it shifts people from thinking me to actually being a ecocentric, holistic, inclusive leader. So that shift is very critical. Second thing is when we look at organization scorecard, and so all the key leaders are involved in the creation of the organization scorecard. And what happens is that breaks the silos, because they are seeing the interconnect, they are seeing the interdependency. And the rule of systems thinking is people need to see the interdependency. If they don't see the interdependency, they are living in silo. And every solution that you create in silo is going to be a problem when you look at it at an organization level or at a overall system level. Now,
but obviously, just to add on things, sir,
please,
is it
please.
not that easy as well, right? It's not so easy to make people shift their
It's
the
not
shift of
easy. It's not easy, but if you have the partnership of the top management, then it is doable. And if you don't have partnership of the top management, you cannot implement OD.
Yeah.
Okay. So OD can only be implemented successfully when you have the full partnership of the top management. So If you're a small size company, just if the MD is with you, then also it's fine. Then you can get everybody else on board. But you need the top authority fully enrolled into it. Okay? So we talk a lot about one of our clients in Thailand. It was a 60-year-old organization, and we worked with them for almost 3 years, and we helped them turn around the whole organization. And they got awarded as the best managed small and medium enterprise of Thailand, and they got that award from the Prime Minister. Now, if you look back, what is it that worked? Is the CEO was fully aligned. And not only he was fully aligned, he was there in most of the meetings. Over and above all the meetings, he was there in all the trainings. He was also, we used to have executive coaching sessions. And for whatever concerns he would have, problems he would have, he would be in communication. So that strong partnership is required. Now, of course, we have to earn it, right? So nobody's going to give that kind of partnership unless we build our own credibility. But that when you have that kind of partnership, then life becomes easier. And of course, then you have to work the core team and all the other leaders, you have to take care of them. But you need that source partnership. So Sandeep, answering your question, one is you have to have the scorecard created where all the leaders are involved. Then you have to create departmental level scorecards where all the department leaders are involved. So then it brings in almost everybody, right? So when you have that happening, then almost everybody gets across of how the whole strategy at a corporate level was created, how it is created at the department level, and then they can see the connection between their role, the actions that they're going to be working on, and the strategy. Okay. A couple of decades back, when Tata Motors launched the balance scorecard in the organization, they had 1,440 scorecards covering all departments and teams. But all of them are interconnected and in synergy, fulfilling the ultimate organizational scorecard. Right. So that is what helps, Sandeep, to break the silos and get everybody on the same page.
Yeah, thanks. You rightly spoke about Tata's because I was in Taj Group and we had balance scorecard launched in 2002.
Yeah. And I'm not sure whether in Taj they also cascaded it to each department scorecard. Did they?
Yes, they did.
Yeah. We find that helps kind of remove all the misunderstandings at middle and even junior level.
Right, yeah.
And especially if the people who are creating the corporate scorecard, they are also involved in the cascading at the company level.
Yeah.
Now, in big organizations like Tata, they would also have what is used to be called OSM, Office of Strategy Management, and they drive this. But in small organizations, it's okay. You need some people to drive. And one of the things why we are having this session today is we are now seeing an opportunity for HR professionals to drive OD. Right? Of course, anybody can drive, but I think it would be a great idea if senior HR professionals, of course, everybody is loaded, we understand, but maybe that's a opportunity that one can think of if you're an HR professional to get into OD and drive OD in the organization with the help of external consultants or on your own, depending on the size of the company and the complexity in the company. But see, the benefit for HR people we see is that you have an access to connect to all departments much more than other people. So bringing everybody together and working on it might be possible. And of course, nothing is easy. We have no intention to say it's easy, but it might just be a good idea to get into it. Right? Yeah. So yes, Professor, we are including it in the MBA, but when practically most of the HR people don't get the time and the bandwidth to work on OD, and they also don't seem to be taking that as an active role. At least in the mid-sized companies that we have been exposed to, right? So Okay, so let's pause here. Questions, any other questions, any other comments? Vandana, anything for you? Atish?
I just left the question on the chat.
Okay.
You mentioned that it's very important to listen, to many people.
Right,
Keep on listening many heads, right? Before we
right.
just go to-
Yeah.
How do you find the balance? When to stop? Otherwise, you will keep listening. Each one will have perspective, and then what needs to be done, right? How
Yeah,
to
so
find that balance?
yeah, business always has deadlines and always have some timelines. So it naturally creates a certain pressure for taking decision, right?
Yeah.
I don't think the challenge is in taking decision. Managers are, most of them understand, and especially at the senior level, they understand the point of taking decision. I think the challenge right now is to make sure that they are they are collecting enough inputs before they are taking decision. Right now, the challenge is more on the other side, but of course, you are accountable as a leader. You are accountable for taking decisions and the quality of your decisions. So that is definitely a balance that one has to bring in. I
Because
think when you are working with a, yeah, go ahead.
my experience is even if you have taken all the perspectives, right? Some perspectives can be integrated, some has to be parked, like everything can't be done in one go.
Sure,
And you
sure.
park it, you take it in phases, and some you can't just take it.
Yeah, sure.
And then for whatever that minuscule percentage is left, we'll keep on creating that, scenarios in the system which will not allow 98 or 97% to work, and how to deal with that.
So, say, if those people are not trained in deep listening, then they are going to be a problem. Okay, so that's why it's important that all the leadership team has to get trained in deep listening. Then what happens is, one of the elements that we work on is what we call as a field of conversation, which is where the real culture of the organization gets built, right? So the field of the conversation is built by training leaders in, so for example, you have a meeting. Okay, this is an easy way to understand. And if you have 5 people in the meeting, the perspective is each person has to be committed to discover other person's perspective fully, without any pressure to give up their own perspective. So when you have 5 people in the meeting, at the end of it, all the 5 people should walk out with deep clarity on all the 5 perspectives. Right? We say, what is the proof that you actually got the other person's perspective is when you can defend their perspective in the meeting. Not only you can represent their perspective, you can even defend their perspective. And still with no pressure to give up your own perspective. Okay. Now, it may seem a little complicated, but you'll be surprised how fast we can train you in that. And unless leaders are trained in this level of deep listening and collective creativity, they are not going to be effective in this transformed organization. Okay. And if they're not interested to develop themselves in this way, then they are the wrong fitment. Right? So
I got the answer. Thank you.
Welcome. It's sometimes you have to take some tough decisions, but first you have to invest and develop themselves. Right. Atish, thank you very much. Okay, so so now we have around 15 minutes. So feel free. I'm going to put my email ID in the chat here, so you can reach out to me. And the session is not yet over, but instead of doing it at the last minute, let me do it right now. If you have received the meeting invite, then you would have my email ID and my WhatsApp also. you can message me here and reach out. Okay, so what we are doing is we are doing this 6-month program, and Nilesh and Manoj is from Accenture, and Nilesh is a lean management consultant, and we had Anil. So all of these people are part of that program. And while we are doing that program, we realized, so most of them were trainers and coaches, and some of them were from HR and other backgrounds. Then we realized that yes, not everybody who learns OD needs to start their own separate consulting. If they are part of an organization, they can actually practice OD as a part of the organization, build their portfolio. It might help them to get make a bigger impact in their current role, maybe get better roles in the future. And whenever they are ready, they would have enough success story, and then they walk into the field as a OD consultant. That would also be a backup option for them. So keeping that in mind, we are looking at our next batch to include HR and other professionals, L&D professionals in this. So it's a 6-month program. And in this, we focus on leadership, culture, strategy, execution, and couple of more things. And the technologies that we leverage are Theory U by Dr. Otto Scharmer, Strategic Thinking by Michael Porter, a Balanced Scorecard by Dr. Robert Kaplan and David Norton. And a very important one is Exponential Organizations by Dr. Salim Ismail. I think it's not Dr. Salim Ismail and Peter Diamandis. And this is about, while the technologies are going exponentially, how can we develop organizations which can grow exponentially? And so we are merging the principles of all of this technology in this 6-month program. The structure is we have a weekend every month. So 1 weekend every month. And we have around 20 classrooms for 2 hours each. The weekends are alternate weekend are on Zoom and alternate weekend are in person. Currently, the in-person weekends are scheduled in Ahmedabad. And so this is the next batch is going to start in September, 27th of September. So the first weekend will be 3 days, 27, 28, 29 September. Other weekends are just weekends, so Saturday, Sunday. So every month there will be 1 weekend, and every month there will be 3 classroom sessions of 2 hours. Classroom sessions are of course on Zoom, and people from all over India are participating with us. And so like right now in our current batch, we have people from Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Delhi, NCR, Maharashtra, and Gujarat participating with us. So that is the structure that we have. And you, at the end of it, you get certified. But the certificate is important, of course, but what's more important is you're getting practical hands-on training. So you are using all this technology to build your own business or your department. And also if you're part of a company, you're applying all of this in the company. So you're getting hands-on there. Plus you will be coaching fellow participants as a professional coach. So that's also where you practice. So there are 3-4 areas where you will actually practice everything, implement everything, and also you get support. Plus, we are building a whole community. So this community is also going to be a lifelong support structure for developing your OD business, as well as as a professional in whatever way you need, many dimensions. This community is going to be a very big strength for all of us. So that's the whole structure. And the tuition for this course is 2 lakh rupees for the 6-month program. And there is an opportunity for people to register if you would like to do so. You can register by paying in 25,000 rupees. And we want to give you a link. If you want to pay through credit card or any other way, you can pay that. And if you register today, you get the opportunity to save 25,000 rupees from the total tuition. Okay, I am going to just put the registration link here. Give me a second. Just 1 second, sorry. And of course, you can reach out to me personally for further information. Second, yeah, I got it. So let's take any questions, any information that you need. And the brochure has already been sent to you in the meeting invite. And plus, if you send me a WhatsApp message, we can send you the brochure also on the WhatsApp message. And if you have received the calendar invite, it already had the brochure in it. And even on LinkedIn, the link for the brochure was included. But yeah, I'll send it to you if you send me a WhatsApp message or email ID or email, I will send the brochure to you again. So before we wrap up, anybody, any questions, anything for you about the workshop or whatever we discussed? We have a couple of minutes before we wrap up.
Can I have a question, sir?
Yeah, please.
Yeah. Actually, I would like to take you back to the first part of the discussion where you have discussed two types of listening, the deep listening things.
Yeah.
One is the factual one and the other is the empathic listening, right?
Empathic listening, yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to understand that how do you practice this while taking up that OD task in any organization? Do you do a Johari window type of a thing, or how do you do that?
We have a couple of tools. One of the tool is called Empathy Walk.
Okay.
And second tool is called a stakeholder interview.
Okay.
And third tool is what we discussed about is fields of conversation.
Okay. Okay.
Right? And then there is Vivek, you can't hear me? Everybody else, you're able to hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, okay, great.
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, thank you. So these are the three main tools. And then there is another tool which we use for addressing leadership challenges through deep listening. And that is called case clinic. So there are 4 tools that we train people in and they master it and they practice on a regular basis. And we ensure the practice of it. Plus we ourselves keep practicing regularly. That is the starting point.
Sure.
Right? So,
Thank you.
right, yeah. Thank you very
What is
much.
the timing on the weekend?
Weekend is 9 to 6.
Okay. And that 2 hours you mentioned will be what time? Online classes?
Generally that we fix along in alignment with all the participants put together. So currently for the current batch, we are doing Wednesday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay.
in the evening.
So it's an everyday class.
No, it is once a week, on an average 3 sessions a month.
3 sessions a month.
So one
And
weekend,
every weekend, 9 to 6.
No, 1 weekend a month.
1 weekend, and that is in person in Ahmedabad.
Alternate week. So for example, September will be in Ahmedabad, October will be online, November will be in Ahmedabad, December is online, like that, right? So total 6 weekends, out of which 3 will be in person, 3 will be online, and all the 20 sessions will be 2-hour sessions will be online, right? And where in Ahmedabad, Anil, we have not yet decided. But it will be in the proper city area. So recently we are doing it in the Navrangpura area of Ahmedabad, right? But we will let you know, right? Definitely that's, and yeah, so you got the structure, Vandana?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, right. Anil, you are in Ahmedabad? You're based in Ahmedabad, Anil?
Yes, sir, Bhopal.
Okay, Bhopal, yeah. Right. So we are, our current batch, we are doing in Navrangpura area, Navrangpura, Vasapur area. But that depends, that will change. So we have our team which takes care of logistics. So they will find good places always. That's not a problem. I will let you know in advance. So by the way, for outstation people, it's also, for everybody, it's also residential. So which means the tuition also includes your stay during the in-person weekends. Okay. Great. Anything else for you?
Sarah, last question. Sarah,
Yes, sir.
last question.
Yeah.
How is mindful listening connected to deep listening? Or mindfulness practices of listening connected to deep listening?
Yeah, so all the mindfulness practices will help you to be in the present moment, right? And being in the present moment is a critical element for you to get out of your head opinions and judgments and to then listen and then practice listening. So I think mindfulness practices will help you. You can use them as the foundation on which you can then build your deep listening practices.
Thanks, sir. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Yeah, many of our colleagues, they use mindfulness practices to train themselves and create the environment in which then they can practice deep listening more actively.
Sir, is there compulsory for weekend to come over there, or is it possible to take it on online way?
We are exploring. There are some people we are looking at who participate internationally also. So there might be another batch which might be completely online. So if you are not able to participate in person, but if you are open for online, you should get in touch with us and we will let you know the dates when they get finalized.
Okay,
So current batch, three times you will have to come to Ahmedabad. Where are you based, Satish?
Pune, sir, Pune.
Pune, yeah. So we are having people coming from Pune, Nashik, Akola, not Akola, Aurangabad.
I do some assignment along with me.
Satish, your voice goes cracking. Can you repeat, please?
I do have some assignment, so where
okay.
I have to be in Pune. So it's quite difficult to plan for Ahmedabad.
All your weekends are booked, eh?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. You get in touch with me. Let's discuss separately. And we are looking to have an international batch which will be online. So let's see. Right? So be in touch with me. Send me a connect. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, great. Everybody, thank you very much for joining. We hope this was worth your time. And if you are looking forward to be in the OD program, that would be great. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend. Take care.
Yeah, thank you so very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks. Yeah, Ram, stay back.